Welcome everyone tonight to our info session on the Race, Diversity, and Equity in Higher Education certificate program through the Penn Graduate School of Education. My name is Jesslyn Polson, and I'm here with Dr. Jessie Harper, who is the Assistant Dean of Faculty Affairs and Diversity and a Senior Fellow at Penn GSE. So thank you for being here today, Jessie.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and start telling us a little bit about this certificate program.
Oh, sure. So thanks everybody for coming to the information session. I do have a couple of slides and I'm going to share my screen. So again, this is the Race, Diversity, and Equity Certificate in Higher Education. This program is going to be taught by myself and by Dr. Ann Tiao, who is the Assistant Dean of Student Affairs. Right. So why is Penn GSE doing this? For one thing, we have always had a commitment to preparing educational leaders and others in K-12, higher education, government, and other organizational settings, and having these really important conversations around race, equity, and inclusion. But we hadn't really provided an opportunity outside of our master's and doctoral programs to provide any type of training and education. So we really wanted to offer this professional certificate as a learning opportunity for leaders outside of our master's and doctoral degree programs, right? So this program is going to offer a virtual, intensive, accelerated 6-month certificate program that really reflects on the history and policies related to diversity in institutions of higher education. It's going to explore the workings of race and bias and its relationship to equity and diversity. And it's really going to explore some promising practices to approaching diversity and leading institutional change. Here's some information about the format. So it's going to be 6 months. 6 2-hour live sessions with asynchronous pre and post work assignments, right? So basically starting in March, we'll meet once a month for 6 months for 2 hours each. Right? Our audience, higher education leaders, teachers, and administrators. The cohort size will be approximately just 25 students. We think that's important because we want to have it relatively small to allow opportunity to have some of these important and sometimes challenging conversations. The participants will earn a Penn GSE certificate and 3 continuing education units. So the requirements are that individuals have to participate in the 6 live sessions. They have to complete the pre and post live session assignments, complete a final project, and the estimated time commitment, give or take, is about 6 to 10 hours per session over the course of 6 months. And so here are the titles of our modules. Module 1, Diversity in Higher Education, History and Practice. So we'll talk about the history and the policy of diversity as it relates to higher education. Module 2, Deconstructing Whiteness, Diversity in Higher Education. So then we'll have a conversation there about the social construction of race, including the social construction of whiteness and what that has meant. And then module 3, the multifaceted nature of diversity and inclusion in higher education. So that's where we talk about different types of diversity. So that will be race, including race, also religion, gender. So we'll talk about the different types of diversity that exists in higher education. Module 4, building an inclusive community, access and choice in higher education. So we'll talk about higher education access there. Maintaining an inclusive community, campus climate, and retention. So we'll have a conversation about the climate and how that relates to retention. And then retaining an inclusive community, all about free speech and what that actually means in institutions of higher education. As I mentioned, I'm going to be co-teaching this course with Dr. Ann Tiao. So I will actually be taking the lead in teaching modules 1 through 3. And she will teach modules 4 through 6, right? So I'll stop my share and that'll leave some time for some other questions.
Great, thank you, Jessie. That was a lot of really good information. So For our attendees, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and put those in the chat or the Q&A. But a couple of frequently asked questions for you, Jesse. First, who are you seeing as the ideal participant for this certificate program? What kind of people should apply to this program?
I think anybody who's interested in diversity and equity in higher education. Higher education leaders, senior staff, even individuals who do some teaching are welcome to attend.
Great. And what kind of impact on a participant's career do you think this participation in this certificate program would have?
I would say that even over and above actually having this certificate of participation, I think that the literature and the topics that we're going to cover are going to be beneficial, right? And will have just the effect of enriching a person's career and trajectory. We know that this is a really important topic right now. It's a topic that many people have not had an opportunity to really have conversations about or to really delve into the literature about. So I think that this provides an opportunity for us to have a conversation about something that's often the elephant in the room, right? Something that impacts all of us, but is often the elephant in the room where people don't necessarily name it. So here's an opportunity to have open and honest conversations around some of those issues.
Yeah, absolutely. And following up on that, as you said, this is a really important topic right now in particular. What do you think differentiates this program or really is an important part of this program that might differentiate it from similar workshops or programs on this same topic?
I think one thing that differentiates it is that it is not really a workshop, right? So it's not one of those just diversity trainings that's one and done. The other thing is the time commitment of their participants. So there's an expectation that you'll read the scholarship that's assigned for that particular session ahead of time, that you'll do the pre and post assignments, which often will include reflection papers, even some reflection on the practices and policies in the student's own institution, maybe some comments on some case studies which will be involved. So there's also a commitment that's required on the part of the student, which we believe is really important for this topic.
Yeah. So also you mentioned, in addition to the pre and post work for each session, there's a final project. Can you give us a few more details on what that final project would look like?
Yeah, that's actually going to be handled by my colleague, Dr. Antial, but I know that it is related to free speech on campus, right? So it's going to be a really, I think, interesting and engaging final project that includes information from all of the other modules, but actually culminates in a project about free speech on campus.
Great. And you may not feel comfortable speaking to Dr. Tiao's background, but what is your own background that has brought you to be passionate about this work, to create this kind of certificate program?
Again, it's something that I've always had an interest in. I am, of course, a woman of color in the United States, right? So these are issues that are very near and dear to me. I do a lot of teaching and talking about this topic. So in addition to teaching in the Graduate School of Education, I also teach in SP2, the School of Social Policy and Practice here at Penn. The courses that I teach there are American Racism and Understanding Social Change, Issues of Race and Gender. I'm also a firm believer that the university setting is the place to have these conversations, because if we can't talk about it here, where can we talk about it, right? So I think it's important to have these conversations and to actually teach and talk about true history in this country.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. Those are I'm really excited for this certificate program, and I think it'll be great to touch about those topics. A more practical question, because this is a question that we get a lot for a lot of our programs, but what if someone has to miss a session and knows that they will not be able to attend? Are there kind of a contingency plan for that?
There is. One of the things that I will say is that if something comes up, if a person knows that they won't be able to attend, I think it's important to get in touch with us as the instructors, right? And to still do the readings and to still do the assignment. Obviously, you'll get the most benefit out of it if you're able to attend all 6 sessions. And we really highly recommend that. But if something comes up and you do have to miss one, just communicate with us.
And just one last question that we often get with a lot of our certificate programs, besides doing the pre and post work, attending the sessions, and the final project, is there anything else that participants will need to do or complete in order to earn that certificate at the end of the program?
I would say that those, yeah, I would say that those are the requirements. I think that this is one of those programs where, you know, you'll get out of it what you're willing to put into it. Right, so that will include being fully engaged during class sessions. It'll be discussion based, right? So please feel free to bring yourself to the class and to participate in the small group activities also that will be a part of this program.
And I believe that you and Dr. Tiao, as you've been planning this, the small cohort model, it really makes a difference so that people will be able to connect with people who work in higher ed across the country and make those professional connections that will make this program even more meaningful to them. So that's another element of the program that I really like.
Yeah, and thank you so much. That reminds me that because it's discussion based and because they're connecting with people all over the country, there's an opportunity for students to learn from each other. Right? And I think that's also important, to learn from each other's best practices, to learn about other people's challenges. So you won't just be hearing from us as the instructors, but the students will also learn from each other.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Dr. Harper?
No, just please join us. Look forward to seeing you next year.
Yeah. And if anyone has any additional follow-up questions about this program, about the application, anything, please reach out to us. Our email is professionallearning@gse.upenn.edu, and we can answer any questions that you might have about this program as you're thinking about applying. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us. And thank you for being with us here tonight. And thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you. It was my pleasure.